Hey, how's it going, Captains? Admiral Hattori here, and welcome aboard for another World of Warships video on my channel. In today's video, I am sailing the Tier 6 Soviet battleship, hopefully I pronounced this correctly, the Izmail. I'm just going to simply call it that way. I'll probably repronounce it differently throughout the video if I constantly say the name, I'm sure of that, but that is the best I would probably pronounce this Russian name. So let's take a look at the Izmail. Before I can talk about that, I wanted to give you guys a heads up that in the future, I possibly might do a new series of warships. I'm just going to keep it as a mystery for now because I'm not sure how committed I am. But it's basically a naval guide as usual, but a little bit more interesting. I will try at my best, of course. So let's take a look at this ship. Overall, I really do like this ship. It can be really fun. And the fun comes into play when you're below 11 kilometers. Of course, that is the Soviet unique characteristic, is where your guns get really accurate below 11 kilometers. The issue that I have with the Izmail is that it's actually classified as a battle cruiser from what I read in the World of Warships description, if I recall correctly. And this ship, it is easily sunk. Once it gets focused, it's done. And being below 11 kilometers, your citadel, which is one of the big aspects of the Soviet battleship, being extremely exposed, is seriously easy to hit. And so many games where I really want to get in, but I can't get in because I am forced to play beyond 11 kilometers. And when you get in those games where you're bottom tier as a tier 6, that is just absolutely the worst, because all the battleships with 380mm guns, they're just going to pen everywhere on this ship. I cross my fingers that the North Carolina or the Bismarck shells don't hit this ship. Well, when you get in a game like this where everyone is within your tier, this ship can be very fun, especially tier 5 matchmaking, because tier 5, the way people play, they tend to spread out. They don't really focus one target and stay grouped, and I like that. It's more open. So right here, friendly Kirov is pushing right into the enemy fleet, so she's gonna get knocked out. I'm close to the sea flag, but I haven't fully commit because there is a Jaguar on the right and the Bayoni, which is annoying the crap out of me right now with her HE. Right away, my priority target is telling me that there's 5 people targeting me, and right there, smack the Bayoni hard with 3 citadels, and I guess 3 penetration and 1 overpen. Something telling me that the 3 full pens are probably the 3 citadels. I'm not sure. Whatever the case is, that ship is no longer on the naval registry. So I'm turning away. I'm using this island defensively because the enemy in New Mexico can clearly get a broadside on me, but this was the perfect opportunity. I was in the right place at the right time to turn, and the New Mexico happens to not have her guns pointed at me. The enemy Jaguar is taken out by the Pavoitsky, and my god, there's a lot of Soviet ship, but Russian name, of course. A lot of people say that they should be called Soviet ships because the Soviet Union is an overall, an overall country, nation. Even though primarily when we think of Soviets, we think of the Russians and not all the other Soviet states. So we got a broadside on that Kunik, and unfortunately it's beyond 11 kilometers, but I do get 14k. I did not expect that. But normally when you fire beyond 11 kilometers, this ship feels extremely inaccurate. Now, I don't think that, at least for me at the moment, I'm at the tier 7 Soviet battleship. I don't know how to pronounce the name, so I'm just gonna keep it as a whole nother video once I get a good gameplay going with that ship. But once you get to the Vostok, it becomes more really Soviet because the armor scheme is a lot better. But in the case with the battlecruiser armor scheme with this ship, this does not really complement what you want for the Soviet ability to have that super accurate frontline tanking ability when you don't have that tanking ability with this ship. I mean, look right there. I got hit by that Normandy. And I don't think the Normandy has big guns. It has 300 some millimeter guns, 330, and it managed to hit my Citadel, or at least get full pens on the ship, and I lost a lot of HP. But with the Vostok, that's when you start getting the real armor with, you know, to complement with that gun accuracy. Anti-air, let's just not even mention the anti-air. The anti-air on the ship is, I mean, I'm up against, what am I up against? A Ranger, whatever, a tier 6 aircraft carrier. I don't know what I'm up against, but the point is that, yeah, this is tier 6, so it's alright considering that I shot down 8 planes, but I felt that when I was using the priority target, the carrier player is just charging at me with it. It looks like the Ryujo looking on that dive bomber right there. So if you get matchmake up against tier 8 carriers, yeah, it's practically impossible to get something shot down. So enemy Normandy, she's showing broadside. I'm aiming a little bit lower because it looks like the Normandy was coming towards me, but she turns away because she spots that kamikaze, and yeah, only 1 pen. So I got myself into a situation where I'm trying to get my ship repositioned, finding the right moment or opportunity to do so. 80% or 70% of the time, I would prefer to have my ship pointing away from the enemy fleet, but still able to keep within range, so cutting my speed and make sure I'm angled well enough. Because when you're at the front lines, you can't, it's like playing the Yamato. For anyone who played the Yamato, once you're there, you have to commit. You cannot just simply, oh, I want to turn around, knowing that, yeah, I'm going to take damage, but the question is, how do you quantify how much damage you're going to take? In the case of the German battleship, probably at worst, at close range, 20k. In the case of the Soviets, it's all or nothing. You literally are playing Russian roulette with these type of Soviet ships in the earlier tiers. Although I don't have a video on the tier 5, I think the tier 5 is also good, at least pretty decent. Mainly because, again, the way people play at this tier, they tend to be more spread out and more aggressive. So it looks like the enemy fleet has formed a massive fleet on this side. They have completely abandoned the plan to take on the B or A flag. The two Bayerns, the two German Bayerns, are going to come swing at the B flag. We're going to fire a salvo and score ourselves a secure on that Normandy. Looks like nobody is targeting me. Now I've watched other people who play Warships, and one thing that I would say is that if you're gonna play, well, actually I do it to all my ships. Probably I wouldn't say to the destroyers, but for the case of the battleship, especially something that this volatile of a ship, it's really a good idea to get that priority target skill. Right there, we smack that cruiser. Was that the Furutaka? Yeah, the Furutaka. Right on the Citadel. Crazy enough, the Furutaka has some serious deck armor, but that isn't really an issue because she's showing broadside, so I'm not really concerned about the deck. My guns are reloaded, and she is beyond 11 kilometers, so let's see how accurate this shot is. Now, although the ship is not accurate beyond that threshold, you still get 12 guns, and that is a tradition for this tier. Although there are ships like the Warspite, the Queen Elizabeth, and the Bayern, and of course, if you want to include the premium, was it West Virginia? Yeah, those guys don't get that many guns, but at least ships with the Fuso, New Mexico, and Arizona, you get the liberty to kind of play like the old style musket warfare where you have everyone lined up and bank on the numbers. Nothing compared to the Leon, of course. Ooh, that was a nasty one. Managed to score 3 full penetration and receive a Confederate. Looks like that Bujoni will be removed soon. Enemy team, it looks like they're in the panic. I want to say that they're in a better position than us, and the reason why is because they're grouped up. They can easily take out whatever remaining forces, but since we're, well, that Britain is going to be taken out soon. Yep, looks like that Britain will be taken out because she's really low at any moment. But yeah, we are split up except the Bayern on the left side. The Vanguard of Bayern's coming this way. The enemy CV is doing a great job spotting our Kunik and Britain. So at any moment, yep, Britain get taken out by the enemy New Mexico. This enemy New Mexico is showing full broadside, and she doesn't have a camouflage, which means that my dispersion should be fairly tight. And let's see what kind of result I can get from this salvo. Oh yeah, that is a nasty 13,500 some damage there. Again, like I said, I want to position myself where I can actually go forward when I need to skirmish with this ship. Looks like Amy Rijo is coming up with the fighters. Going to fire a sequential salvo here on that broadside New Mexico. Gonna punish that ship again. Ooh, 8.7k. Not as big as before, of course, because I already done most of the damage on that previous salvo, but that salvo still did quite a bit on that New Mexico. Looks like the enemy Ryujo is going to go strike that Kunik, and our friendly Ryujo is going to drop a torpedo wave onto that New Mexico, making the New Mexico, forcing the New Mexico to turn. Going to fire a salvo and secure this German battleship, Kunik, of course. Looks like the Bayern are still way out of position, especially if you look on that minimap. That island will be an issue. That guy squeezed himself in between the island. But it looks like I can handle myself at the moment. Now I'm left with the decision to punish this New Mexico or finish off that Furutaka. And I decided to punish the uncamoed ship because you can't get better dispersion than this. If you ask why a lot of people feel like their RNG is bad, and there be days where their RNG isn't that great, part of that reason is because people aren't aware that camouflage, even though it's like a small percentage, can seriously make the difference of having horrible dispersion and great dispersion. And of course, there's just days where it's in general horrible RNG, which is why in the higher tiers you feel like you get, horrible dispersion even though you got ships that are seriously accurate at the higher tiers. It's probably because 90% of the players run camouflage. I hope, or at least I hope my team does. And right there we were able to score a kill on that Furutaka. Looks like I stole the kill from the Ryujo, but this is how we do it with the Soviet battleships. Now the New Mexico is below 11 kilometers, which means that not only does she doesn't have a camouflage to dazzle my dispersion, she's also in the range of the deadliness of the dispersion on this ship. And look at that, that is nasty. Get my Kraken. I feel a little bit guilty, but hey, it's a win, which I'm pretty glad. I'm sure everyone's more celebrating on the win rather than getting the kills. Aside from that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time on World of Warships.